Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Actuarial. Now this video, as you can see, is how to become the highest paid actuary. Now I know that once I post this video, this many people will see this video and the number of views will increase because it is related to highest paid, and that's where the problem lies. If you want to be the highest paid actuary, you have to see the other videos of this channel, which is the knowledge videos. Like I yesterday, or not yesterday, last week I posted a video about why what happens when the term of a term product get extended. Previous week I explained about what happens when the term of an actually term of an endowment product get extended, or what happen, how do you calculate the the discount rate, right? So all of this, if you do not know the answer to this, you can never reach this level, which is the highest paid actuary. So if you want to be this, you have to focus on that. And obviously not many can focus on that. That's why I expect very few people to watch those videos. But if you are watching this video and if you have not watched that video, then you are not in the right frame of mind. Now, also, I hope your exams are going well if you are appearing for the IFOA exam. Now, for the II exam, you still have time till I think 22nd of September to write, and after that also there might be some time after paying the late fees. So, if you are appearing for any of this paper, which is SS7, SP2, CP2, and CP3, you can check the link in the description of our website, that is bluedragonuniverse.in, and you can register for the our course. I believe that the course has been prepared very well for each of this institute. Like for example, for SS7 has regulations, and I've explained the regulations in our course, and the course is complete. You can now purchase the course and see the entire course at one go, right, and prepare at your own pace. And we are having doubt clearing sessions every weekend for each of those four papers, right? So any doubt clearing that you require would be kind of done, and that will go on till the India exam or I exams are over, right? So if you are interested, you can check out that course. Now, without wasting further time, let's come back to the topic: how to become the highest paid actuary. Obviously, many people have this dream, and I always wanted to be the best actuary in the world. That's the dream that I have started with, because I believe if I am the best actuary, in any case, I'll get the highest paid. I became the highest paid actuary. So becoming highest paid actuary is not never my dream, but I know that that would be a side effect of that. But I think many people are kind of interested in being this, right? That is the future actuary, or how the future actually look like. All of those answers would you will get here, and I think this would be a very interesting video for many people, including people who are very experienced, to kind of understand the path they should take to become highest paid actuary. Because at the end of the day, we know what is driving this world, that is money. There is no other thing that is driving this world, right? So if you want to be the highest paid actuary, focus on this video. So moving on, these are the general steps, right? And in the course of this presentation, we'll go much deeper into this general step. First step is obviously paper, and the reason I have kind of mentioned that in black and white, because that's how it is. Black and white, just without any color. You have to go through the rigor, and also it is very basic. It is just the starting point. Most people stop there. This is the place that everyone should reach. That is the requirement of an average actuary. Is just that for us, the requirement is so high as compared to any other profession. The basic or the average requirement will be much lower as compared to actuary, where the requirement is so high that you have to clear 15 papers or 13 papers, right? But this is the rigor that you have to go through. But once again, this is just the starting phase, right? You can see so many steps after that, and in color, right? So this is just the starting phase. After that, the real color of life or the real color of actuary will only be exposed after this, after you clear the papers, or after you have cleared some amount of papers, right? So that's very important to understand. Next would be the quality of work. Now here, number of work is not important, or how many years you have worked, that is not important, because I have seen many people who have worked much more than me, maybe double, double my age and double my work knows far less than me. So and there are many people who might be lower, might have lower number of years of work than me, and then might know much more than me. So that's why quality of work is important. It's not the number of years of work. Unfortunately, in the world, they hire on numbers of years of work. That's because that is quantifiable. You cannot quantify quality, but what matters is the quality of work, and eventually this will win, right? This will win if two people with same level of, same number of years of work, but different quality of work experience. You obviously know who is going to win, who is going to get the higher rating, who is going to get the bigger project, right? So you know that, and that is obviously that is very very important to get to that highest paid actually. Second, the third step is ability to code. I have seen very few people who are ability to who have the ability to code. Usually, people who are at senior level, most of the appointed actuaries at this stage, I believe they would not know coding, or they have no done coding in the past, and they kind of speak about that in past tense that I have been a very good modeler, but now I have forgotten it. That is within silence. That is in bracket. So most people, especially in the senior position, they have forgotten to code, and that is something that should be with you till the end of your life if you are an actuary. Ability to communicate. Now we know that actuaries are bad communicators, is also because that is how the answers are written. If you see the suggested solution in given by India, or sometime also the examiner report of IFA, those are written very very poorly. Is in fact that is not what should be suggested. You should not be writing those answers, but that's how it is written. So actuaries are usually bad communicators. Very few actuaries are good communicators who can, kind of explain difficult concept. And that was one of my reason of starting this YouTube channel, because I had faced so many difficulties in hiring candidates, people who have half-baked concept but good marks, but they were or people who know something but they were not able to communicate. So I thought, let me start an YouTube channel. Let me break down difficult concept, but at the same time I understood that yeah, people are interested in getting salary, like I mentioned, but they are not interested in learning about concept. They are only interested in paper. So I understood that after starting the YouTube channel. Anyways, moving on. Ability to market. Now, sometimes people confuse communication and marketing as the same thing. That is not the same. Ability to market is something else, and you have to kind of show that you know something, right? But you have to do it slightly in a decent manner, and we'll see more about that. Ability to multitask. Now, the higher the designation, higher will be the number of projects. So that's why if you can't multitask, you you would not be given more responsibilities. If you would not be given more responsibilities, then you cannot become the highest paid actually, right? So ability to learn continuously, and this is something that I've seen. Once again, most experienced people at a point of time, they stop learning. In fact, I get this question every time, like because now I've qualified, and I'm still writing essay 2 paper, and people, as even my parents ask this question, how long are you going to keep writing papers? That is a never ending process. You should learn continuously. I plan my 6 months and next 6 months. I don't want to plan far ahead in future, but I can plan for 6 months, and I want to try out and test or learn many things, right? For example, the entire that blue dragon universe.in, that website is built entirely by me. I have not hired any website designer, and that is designed, coded, everything is done by me, right? And I'm still learning the process. In fact, when I complete my learning, when I feel that I'm a good web developer, I can launch a course on that, right? So that's my thought process. Like, if you learn something well, you can earn money from it, right? You can also provide service, because while hiring, I was at a one point of time, I was trying to hire web developers, and they were charging 50,000 to 3 lakhs, and I think I can charge much less than that and give much more better website than they can ever produce in their life. So I am learning that, and eventually I'll be mastering that at one point of time. So I think that is very important, especially in the world that we are going to see. Lot of entrepreneurs, lot of startups are going to come, including mine. So I think yeah, that is something that is going to fly in the next 10 years. So that's where it is very important that you have to learn continuously. Some new regulation come like IFRS 17, you have to learn, right? Knows AI. Now this is written in a different color because most people will probably stop there. Even the best of the best will stop and in that phase of ability to learn continuously, but they will not learn AI, saying that is something maybe it's too gimmicky or it's not required. Actuaries are called the oldest data science, something like that, and they would not learn AI. But trust me, AI is real, and if you don't know AI, you are going to become redundant. If you ask me, in fact, I will tell you, leave all your papers and learn AI. Right? I am doing the same. I can tell you I am doing the same. So that's how important I feel AI is. And finally, you have to combine all of these skills. It's not that you are good in one area, maybe you are very good coder. I know a person who is a very good coder in Actuary, but she is not able to, she do not have the quality of work ex. She cannot multitask. She gets stressed very easily. So that's where you are going to fail. You cannot be very good in one area. You have to be good in each of these areas. then that's what is unfortunately or fortunately the requirement of being an highest paid actuary. It's not easy at all, because if it's easy, then everyone will get to that level. Only one person will get to that level. That is why you have to understand each and every step, and you have to be kind of good in each and every step. And finally, the main point is, if you can generate revenue for the company, until and unless you can generate revenue, you can earn money for the company, no one is going to give you the highest package. Who have the highest package in the in a company? That is the CEO. Why the CEO has highest package? Because is the CEO helping in any technical skill or anything else? No, the CEO is just having his vision so that the company can grow. That's what you have to think. You have to think like CEO even when you are an analyst. Right? So if you can generate money for that company, the company is going to pay you, right? Because the company will want you to generate more and more money. So the only way to become highest paid actually is to combine all of this skill set to generate revenue, right? Moving on. Now, first of all, before we go to each of the step, first of all, there is a step zero, which is very important and which is not that stressed upon. And that is very, very important. First, you need to understand why you are doing actually. Now, most people will say that I love math, stat, and that is a blatant lie. I can tell because I have seen many people, I have interacted with many people. Usually, I interact with many people each day, and most of the people give this answer, but they trust me, they know nothing about maths and stat. If I just ask them what is the difference between maybe integration and differentiation, they would not be able to say. And they say that they love maths. So they are not here for loving maths. They are here for this reason, because higher package is publicized by multiple coaching center, by word of mouth. There are multiple ways, right? Higher package is being publicized, and you will get to that higher package, but you will get to that higher package in any profession. Actually, it's not different, right? You can be a barber and get to a very high package if you are good in your job. Same goes for actuary. Any profession can give you higher package, right? So that's why you should not aim at being having the higher package, or that should not be your criteria for choosing a profession. If you like something, then you should go into that profession, because then there is a guarantee that when the situation get tough, you will not give up, which is what happens. Recently I got a message from someone saying that I appeared for one paper and then I appeared for another paper. Previously I failed, and this time also my paper is not that good. I saw some solution posted by some coaching center, and as per that, I don't think I am not going to pass. So if I am not going to pass, I don't think I should continue the actuary. These are the questions, like the person who is asking this question has already given up on actuary. She's already do not have the right frame of mind to be an actuary, because she's not passionate about actuary. Because if you are passionate about a profession, you will multiple times you will fail, and multiple times you will face hurdles, and that's the difference. If you are not passionate about something, you will see that as a failure, but if you are passionate about something, you'll see that as a hurdle that you can overcome. That's the mindset difference that is required, right? You can, if once you are asking this question, why, whether I should do actually or not, then already you should not be doing actually. You should be doing something else. Maybe you can be very good in something else. Actually, it's not the end of the world. So actually, is not for everyone, right? So I can tell you that I have failed multiple times in one paper, but I have seen that as an hurdle. Why I am not able to do that? Then when I moved into stock market, I made huge amount of losses, and then I'm still making some big losses, but overall I'm profitable. So I wanted to understand what is happening. Why in my process there is some flaw? How can I rectify that flaw? Recently, I also made a LinkedIn post that I went for a trekking and I was not able to complete that track. Right, I'm working on my fitness. So it is this thing that drives you, right? That you have to, at today you might not be good enough, but you have to work in that direction that tomorrow you would be good, right? Tomorrow you would be best. So in doing that, you have to kind of overcome many hurdles and overcome many weakness in your in your personality maybe. And because of that, you should not stop just because of failures, because if you are asking that question, no, so you need to understand why you are doing actually. And if it is genuinely maths or stat, then that's a good thing. But for most of you, it is not the case, right? So be self-aware, understand what is the reason. If you are doing it for higher package, that is also a good reason. I don't see as a bad reason, I don't see as a negative reason. I don't know why people kind of have, especially in India, have a thing about not earning money. You do not say loudly about money. What is the problem of saying I want to be the richest person in the world? That's a good dream. How many people will be there, right? How many people will reach that level? You can be, that can be your dream, but you have to be clear about that dream, right? And then if you are dreaming about being the maybe the richest person in the world, then there are many ways. You may take the unethical way, right? You may take, that's why that is a volatile goal. However, if you are focusing for something might be more which is for the betterment of the society maybe, then that will push you towards the ethical side, right? So that's why I personally feel that you should not aim for higher package. You should join a profession that you love. And in the initial years it is difficult to understand. I did not, I only got to know about actually when I was 25 years old. So I did not know about actually when I was 20. So I started actually when I was working in a job. Most of you are probably in college, or you have started actually when even before college. These days I get queries from people who are in class 9 and 10 saying that I want to start actually, can I do something about it, and can I study something so that it help me. So they are visionary people. They are kind of thinking much ahead in advance, but at the same time they're also not enjoying their childhood or adulthood or teenage, right? Because that is also very very important. I am happy that I have not done that, right? So in that age you should be doing something else, and because I have done something else, I have that experience as well. It should not be, your life should not be based on from one moving from one exam to another. But anyways, you should know why you are doing actually. That answer should be very very clear to you. Because if you do not get to that level, if you do not get the answer to that question in actually, after a point of time you should leave actually. Then actually is not for you. You might be very good in something else, right? But if you love maths, then you should stay in actuary till the time you see maths, or till the time you see maths in your job. So otherwise you should leave actuary, right? So that then your reason for doing actuary should be very very clear to you. And there is no harm in being targeting that 1 crore package or whatever, right? But that reason should be very very clear to you. If you are not clear about the reason, then you will see two failures. You are not able to clear paper. I am not going to clear paper, then what can I do? Let me ask someone, so that that person can motivate you. And I am not a person to motivate you. I am here to tell you the real truth. And that might be bitter sometime, but I am not here to motivate you. There are so many scammers who are motivating you. So I don't want to do that, right? Moving on. Papers and quality of OKX. So papers, as I mentioned, are just the very basic. Passing papers does not mean having good knowledge, and this is the reason I started my YouTube channel here. And this is the reason I moved into the coaching industry, because I felt that there are many people who have passed the paper with good marks, especially after COVID, because that cheating and everything else, but they do not have any knowledge. And without knowledge, you cannot become the highest paid actuary. As simple as that, right? If you want to become the highest paid actuary, your concept should be crystal clear. If your concepts lack clarity, then anyways you are much behind the race. The people with just papers are hired as interns, right? So that's what is the real truth of the industry. If you just, like, when you are starting, you have 5 papers, 6 papers, you have just have papers, you do not have any workings, you will be hired as interns. So the industry itself is saying to you that your papers is not enough, but still you are running after papers. So you can understand how foolish that is, right? And they would not hire you as not full-time employees, right? Full-time employees can only be hired when you have some workings, right? Maybe you can do one internship, two internship, then only you can get hired as a full-time employee, or maybe your internship will get converted into full-time employee opportunity. But just with papers, you will only be hired as interns, no matter how many papers you've cleared, right? So the industry is telling you that papers are not enough. It's up to you to understand and listen to what the industry is saying. The quality of work matters, right? So once again, I have seen many people who are clueless, and at this point of time they have damaged their career so much by moving from one sector to another sector, being clueless, totally clueless. They move from pension to life, and then from life to general insurance. Which company is paying them higher package? Even I get call from consultants saying that uh, general insurance head position, right? And I can easily accept that head position. But the problem is I don't know much about general insurance. My knowledge is only theoretical. I know that is not sufficient. So people say that yeah, we are willing to give you that opportunity even if you do not have that work ex, right? And how foolish is that statement? The person who is making the statement has no idea what actually. So I cannot accept that role, and you should not be doing that either. So if you are from pension domain, stick to pension domain. if you do not like mention domain, move to live domain, but then stick to live domain. You cannot change your domain every 6 months just because some company offers you higher package. And if you are doing that, you are actually damaging your own CV and own career. So if you have, and then people move into analytics and learn nothing in the process. And I have so many examples, people who have damaged their career, and that is beyond repair now. Now they don't know a thing in pension, they don't know some anything in life. So how can they survive in those environment? And they would have 10 years of work ex, 11 years of work ex, and with that work ex and with that package they would cannot grow, because they don't know that much in, because they have kept on switching the domain because of just the lure of higher package. So this is where the quality matters. It's not the number of years of work ex, because I have seen people who have a lot of years of work ex, because people who are born before me is expected to have more work ex than me. But that does not mean that person is better than me. Right. So unfortunately, the world hires on number of years of work ex, and they cannot hire on quality, because quality is not quantity, it cannot be measured. But that's how it should be. Moving on. Ability to code. Now, very few actuaries are actually coders, right? Most of them are editors. Like give them code, they can edit, they can Google, and the situation has been worsened by Chat GPT. Now, Chat GPT itself cannot write codes. That is the unfortunate truth. You will see many YouTube videos, or somewhere they will say that AI will do this and that, but Chat GPT itself is a very incomplete language. And there are multiple times I have tried to use Chat GPT to help me in coding. Like for example, in Trading View or in trading, there is a software called Trading View, and there is a coding behind that called Pine Script, and I am currently in the process of learning that. And I tried to use Chat GPT, and it always gives the incorrect code. And then you paste the error, then it gives another incorrect code. So Chat GPT does not know to code, and because of that, people just want to take the shortcut instead of learning from a book. And because of that, that further worsen the situation. They now learn incorrect concept completely, right? So most actuaries are not coders, which is a very important requirement, because if you are into modeling, especially in general insurance, you are modeling in SAS or SQL, because I have helped many people in coding that. If you are in life insurance, then you are working in Profit or Access, and that is all based on Visual Basic Code. So you have to learn coding. If you do not know coding, you cannot be once again the highest paid actually, right? And even institutes are now recognizing coding. During our time, R was not part of the syllabus. Now R is part of the syllabus, right? So even the institutes are recognizing that. I recently saw there was a few people who were kind of organizing workshop on SQL and Python, and so that is very important. If you do not understand that, then you cannot become the highest paid actually, for sure. And that is more important for experienced people who have some, like maybe 20 years of work ex, who have reached a position. They are just not interested or inclined to learn. So whatever they have learned it 10 years back, and in the next remaining 10 years they have not learned anything, especially coding. They have either forgotten or they have never learned. And that is how they become unemployable at beyond a particular age. Moving on, ability to communicate and market. As I mentioned at the start, communication and marketing are not the same thing. Actuaries are usually poor communicators, because as I mentioned, even the books are written in a very poor manner. Tough concepts are made even tougher, right? And especially the concepts which are tough, for example, commutation factor in CM1 made tougher, filtration concept made tougher, right? Markov chain made tougher in the book. So if you read those material from that areas, it's very tough. I remember talking to, like, visiting one of the seminars, no webinars, and the seminars or webinars was related to embedded value, and I was talking to a very experienced person, someone from the Big Four, and he was giving a presentation, and there was a question, and he was mentioning about the cost of guarantee being deducted from the present value of future profit. I asked him why cost of value is getting deducted, and he gave me a blah blah answer. It's kind of like he himself knows that that answer is not correct, and I still kept on asking the question, and he was not able to answer. And then he mentioned that it is just that is the how that is the way how it is designed. And but and I can tell you, many people, even people, if most people who are even at appointed actual level, would probably not know why cost of guarantee is deducted. They just know that cost of guarantee has to be deducted, but why it is getting deducted, that many people will not know. By the way, I have a video made on that. in my channel. You can search for that, why cost of credit is deducted. So that has to do something with the derivative, and I don't want to go into detail of that. So it is very important for a good communicator to be honest in their communication. If you don't know, you don't know. Say that, right? And also to simplify tough concept. Once again, that is the reason I kind of started this channel. But as I see, the audience is more interested in papers, audience is more interested in salary, but the audience is not interested in understanding tough concept, and that's why they would never become the highest paid. Actually, that is something that is a goal for only very limited section of actuaries. Everyone cannot become that. That's why the term highest, right? Everyone can become maybe high paid actuary, but highest only one person can become that, right? So that is very important to understand. Marketing, now marketing is the ability to influence others in some way, right? And you might be the best, but others need to know about that. So for example, when you are working in a corporate environment, there will be your computer, so you have to kind of explain what you are doing to a manager, but that has to be done gracefully. Now these days I see, like recently, I think yesterday I saw a post by someone saying that I have been admitted as a fellow in Institute of Faculty of Actuaries, and etc. And he posted a screenshot of the fellowship. Now, what good that does to me? I have not done the paperwork. I'm just waiting for my SA2 exam to be over to start the paperwork. Had he mentioned about the way he had got the that certificate, what is the procedure, then that would have added many value to me or to many other people who are kind of in the same boat. But just posting a screenshot of something is just pushing someone else's achievement on my face, and that is ridiculous. That does not add any value. So if you have to promote yourself, but you have to do it in a graceful manner. You cannot shout at the top of your voice that you are the best. Then obviously you are not, because those who are the best need not have to shout at the top of their voice, right? So you have to understand that you have to promote yourself, you have to market yourself, right? You have to influence others, but you have to do it by listening to their opinion. You have to do it in a graceful manner. If you are not doing that, then once again, you are far behind the race. Able to multitask, the higher you go in the designation, higher would be the number of projects, right? And you have to handle multiple projects, queries from that projects. You have to also mentor people. You also have to communicate with different clients, different stakeholders. So that is why multitasking is very important. Mentoring is very important, because to become good managers, you have to debug a lot of problems. People would get stressed, and it is your responsibility as a manager not to pass on the stress to your to your juniors, basically. And I have not seen many people do that. Also, mentoring is important for a very selfish reason, that if you cannot mentor a person to take your level, how can you yourself go up? That is impossible, right? So that's why mentoring is very important, so that you mentor people so that they become better, so that they can take your place and you can move up in the ladder, right? That is the most important way to kind of move towards the highest paid. Actually, if you are stuck in the same level, then you have to change the company to grow in your life, right? So then that, and there you lose the influence and lose the power that you have in the current company. So that's where mentoring is very very important. And very few, actually, I mean, in my career I have several managers, and I think I can only mention one manager. I will not take his name, but I mean, only one person I felt that was good in managing, right? Rest are just kind of panic strike, and whenever panic strikes, they panic even more and pass on the entire stress to the team, which is the opposite of what you should be doing. Managing time is even more important, and I've seen there is a tendency to show off long working hours. Someone is working for 12 hours, saying that I have worked for 12 hours, I have worked for 15 hours, I have not slept for 2 days. That is not something that you should show off. That is the most stupidest thing that I have seen in my life. What you should actually show up is some work that has been done for 20 hours. You have kind of automated, you have written some code, something that you have done, so that that the time span for that has reduced from 20 hours to 2 hours. In fact, the very first award, corporate award, that I received in my life in Actuary was in AIG, when there was a process that has to be done through 3 days, 3 working days. And I wrote a code over a period of 6 months, and I perfected that code. So you just press one button, everything will be done in 2 hours. And I got a award for that. So that's what you should show off, that earlier it used to take 3 days. Now I have kind of crisped it down to only 2 hours. So that's something you should show up. You should not show up 15 hours of work. That is stupid. Moving on, and very few actuaries reach this stage. Like I mentioned, I have only seen one person to kind of, who can multitask other than myself. And I also get this question many times, that you are also doing this and that, you are also trading, you are also preparing videos for, actuaries, you are also creating your course. How can you do so many multitasks? I think one of the reason is I stayed alone from my childhood. Like my both my parents were working, so I have to take care of myself on my own. And I think that is one of the thing. But mostly I was able to split task, and I have to plan about tasks so that I can multitask, right? And I have seen very few people usually reach that stage. Probably something to do with their upbringing. My upbringing has been slightly different, so I think that's what had helped me. And I also took great pride in doing this multitasking. Right, every day I have to get up, then I have to cook my own food. I do not have any help on that. Then I have to, prepare, study, and then I have to start trading. And I also made a video on time management, a very old video. You can see that video as well. So that helped me in multitasking, and I can apply the same concepts in my projects. That this is the time that this project need more attention. This is now this is more of priority than as compared to another project where the client or the stakeholder can wait. And then I move into that project as well and give this project lesser priority. So you have to kind of switch and shift your priorities, and you cannot panic. That is the most important thing. The only thing that I've learned in MBA is that you should not panic. And if you are panicking, that panic should not be passed to your, to your juniors, right? You should do your best not to pass on the panic. Sometimes it has to be passed. Sometimes the deadline is such, but you should do your best, that the juniors themselves will say that, yeah, this person do not pass on the panic. If this person is, passing on the panic, then something is extremely wrong. Right? So that is very, very important. Moving on, ability to learn continuously and knows AI. So most people stops after fellowship, and so does their growth, which is kind of very obvious. And I think if you have worked in this industry, you have probably seen many such people who are, a shell of their past self, who have forgotten everything and is just at the senior level managing communication and approving leaves. They have forgotten their technical concept, to be very honest, and that is not something that you should be. Moving on, now they became asset share. Now this is a kind of a, sarcastic line that I've written. They became asset share because asset share deals with the past, and eventually they run off. But they're not reserving for the future, because reserves usually are prospective in nature and they have to think about the future. So if you only are a shell of the past or a thing of the past, then you cannot become the highest paid actually. Right? That is quite obvious. And finally, I'd like to say, if you are interested in learning something, this is something that you should learn. If you have not started learning it, then you should learn this. I believe that it's around 2 years time, 2.5 years of time that is left before AI would invade actually. And it's not Chat GPT. I can tell you, Chat GPT is the very basic starting point. Like Chat GPT is like the papers of actually. It's just the starting point of AI. And AI is much more bigger, much more what can I say, dangerous and cruel. It will take your job. Actually, is no exception. So only way you can prevent your job, from losing your job, is to master AI yourself. So if you are not doing that, then once again, you are much behind in the race. So focus on learning continuously, learn actual concept, learn regulations, those which are not written in the book. And in Blue Dragon Universe, also we are planning several courses which are not part of the book. The very recent would be the Sparkle one. Then we'll come up with the actual software courses, so that this gap between the experienced and the freshers would be kind of removed. But it is your responsibility to learn it. You have to pay for it, because we have to kind of create those courses. It takes a lot of time and energy to learn, to create, to explain something, right? Recently I conducted a poll that whether you'd be interested in learning about trading in using actual concepts, and most people replied no, they are not interested in learning. And that was a paid seminar. So the point I asked for, paid something, people are not interested. Very few people will be interested, and obviously that is the way it should be, right? Because not everyone can become once again the highest paid actually. But that's just the mindset difference. People can do well. I believe that actuaries can do very well in trading, because we have that ability to understand things, and we already have that finance bent of mind. However, It's just the mindset. We don't want to pay for something because at the same time we are asking this question: how is it relevant for my paper? And the moment we get the no, this is not relevant, we are probably not interested, right? So that's how it is, right? You are probably too focused on what the the current trend has been, to kind of shift your vision from what the future would be. And the future is AI, to be very specific. If you are not going to master AI, then AI is going to take your job without even realize. The very reason that you are getting promoted today would be the same reason would be the the same for the same skill set, or maybe the lack of it, you would lose your job, right? Because AI would be doing that job much better than you, because AI is much more skilled than understanding patterns, right? Or understanding or learning from the past, because it is learning on a continuous basis. You cannot compete with a computer on that. However, what the computer cannot compete with you on the fact that you can learn new things, and the computer cannot learn new things without new codes being written. So that is where the computer would fall behind you, and you have to kind of use AI, and not be used by the AI, right? So that's the difference. So if you ask me, I'll say that leave your papers for 2 years, learn AI, because even if you clear all the papers in next 2 years, you are still not going to get a good job without AI. So that's what is important as per me. Combining all skills and generate revenue. So this is the X factor. As I mentioned, not everyone can combine the skill. The question that you should ask yourself is, are you passionate enough? Because if you, as I mentioned at the start, if you are not passionate enough, then you will see everything as a failure. But if you are passionate enough, then you will see everything as a hurdle, and you will work towards overcoming that hurdle. However, if you are kind of not passionate enough, then yeah, two failures, you are going to give up. The highest rated actually is not the one, is the one who brings money for the company, right? And not the highest level, and not the person with highest level of technical knowledge. That's why you'll see appointed actuary and CEO, but CEO is the person who is driving the company, not the appointed actuary, right? So that is because the CEO is bringing money, and the appointed actuary is just managing the risk, right? That's the unfortunate or the fortunate truth. So if you want to be the highest paid actuary, right, you have to take on some of the roles that the CEO is doing. So you have to bring money for the company. The only time that I have been rated highest rated, right, is when I was bringing money for the company. Because of me, the company got a project, and because of that project, the company got money. So that is the only time you'll be getting highest rating, right? So, and obviously, if you want to be the highest paid actuary, salary plays an important role, right? And then that's how, uh, if you can bring money for the company, then only you are going to get the highest rating. Otherwise, if you are technically very skilled, then only you will get the second best rating, because there will be other people who would also be good at a certain level, right? But uh, most of them would not have the communication, marketing, and other skill set to bring in business, which you would have, right? And that will separate you from your peers. So the idea is, the higher you grow up the ladder, you have to figure out ways in which you can distinguish yourself from the peers. Starting from the phase that you are writing paper. When you are writing paper, you need to know something extra, like coding, maybe, right? When you are working, then you need to take challenging jobs so that your quality of work ex improves. When you have good quality of work ex, then you have to communicate and market well as compared to others. When you are communicating and marketing well, then you have to work on getting projects for the company. In that way, you should proceed, right? So whatever is required for a particular level, you have to do something extra for that level, so that you can be in the race, right? Finally, a company will not pay you 1 million if you cannot help the company to earn 10 million, right? At the end of the day, it is a business. It's If you generate profit for a company, the company will share the profit with you. But if you cannot generate that amount of profit, the company will not share that profit with you. And the person who is generating highest profit for the company is eventually going to become the highest paid actually. Now, other than that, there can be multiple sources of income and etc. But I have kind of skipped that. I just wanted to focus only on the actual skills, right? Because actually is not only someone who understand the papers. That is, as I mentioned, that is the very basic. But you need actual concept. You need other skills like project management, marketing, communication, multitasking, right? And also a bit of salesman and CEO like vision, right? All of this is required to become the highest paid actuary. So you can see that it's not easy, and it's definitely very hard. Actually, it's not. In fact, I should say it is very hard to become the highest paid actuary. only one person can reach there. But the question you should ask yourself is, are you passionate enough to at least give it a try? Because most people will probably give up after second or third step. I am certainly trying, right? And not for being the highest paid actually though, but I am trying to become the best actuary in the world. So I believe that, as I mentioned, if I can do that, then this highest paid thing would also be a side effect of that. So what you should be interested in, what is where your interest lies, that is where you should focus on. It may not be in actuary, you might be very good in another field, and you should try that field. However, if you are in actuary, if you feel passionate about actuary, then you have to focus on all of these factors and become the best in those factors. So if you have any question, write it that in the comment section. Thanks for your patience. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing to this channel for such knowledgeable content. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, do check our courses. If you are also interested in trading, same website, you can see multiple courses. We are going to bring many courses, as I mentioned, in the future as well, which will eliminate or try to eliminate the gap between freshers and experienced, right? And also courses on technology, coding, etc. All of this eventually very slowly but steadily would come into the website. So you might consider registering in the website. And if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So see you in future videos.